So one of the biggest concerns for farmers is whether or not their product at the end of the year is going to sell. And so I'm curious how your selection is affected by that.
Yeah, so I try to balance it out. It's real common that people wind up like chasing whatever is the most marketable. Right now, like for the last little bit, it's been like before the quote unquote and exotics really took over. It was like Kush, Kush, Kush. Before that, it was sour. It was like Kush, then sour, then Kush. And then now it's like exotics, and then exotics will probably start to chill out a little bit. Gas will probably kind of come back, or maybe it'll be more of a mix now going forward or something. But I try not to chase that too hard, because as a breeder, everything takes time, right? So right now, if I go, okay, everything's got to be OG, by the time you get your OG lines really nice, it's like, well, OG is not the thing. So I like to try to kind of keep it diversified, to go, okay, I'm working on some stuff that I know these kind of people like. I'm working on some stuff that these kind of people like. It's like, okay, gas heads, perp heads, the exotics, all the stuff that people are really into. And by working with everything I think is good all the time, I'm able to I can draw from that and know that I have something that will be good when it comes to its time. Whereas if you just all the time are just trying to do what is really happening with the market, by the time you have your stuff ready, it's like it's not what the market really wants. So I try to balance it out like that. And then I always work with things that I think are cool, even though I know they might not really ever be a big part of the market. I try to make sure that if people know that when they get it, they know that this is something that is very marketable. And then this over here, this is something that's a little more odd. So this is more something like, just
For the connoisseurs.
yeah, or for more of a medicine, or more of what it is, more mellow. And then this is the thing. This is the thing this is what you want to grow a lot of. And this over here, this is just something to have some of, because it's going to be like some head stash,
Because the diversity is what brings you joy, is seeing what this plant can produce and all these different terpenes that it produces. And so sometimes, and I know you've seen this where the seed market is right now, is a lot of people are just going towards the hype. And it gets kind of boring for me, especially as a consumer and somebody that buys seeds. There's no new hybrids. Nobody's stepping outside of the box. And so that's something I've seen you and Bodie does that a lot. CSI Humboldt does that a lot, where you guys are in your own lane. You have these old strains and you combine them and make new stuff out of old stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to where everything's at now, it's just there's no diversity.
Yeah, and the advantage that we all have is that we're really interested in plants themselves. So like you see like CSI working with crazy stuff that people are like, why do you want to grow that? He's like, because it's a plant. I like it. And then out of that, he winds up making things that after a while, he changes people's mind. They understand why he's working with it. You go, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were crazy, but now I see, and if all you're doing is just chasing the hype, then you're constantly going to be just following what's going on, and you're never going to actually make anything that's groundbreaking, because it's just going to be what it is. And that's why so many companies, they just take whatever old male and they take all the popular clones, make a bunch of seed, and it's whatever is the most recent, and that is really practical for the market. So it has its place. Like there's always a thing of people, it's really common for people to bash one type of breeder and other people say, oh, Fems suck, or autoflowers suck, or this guy's work suck because it's all just hype, and this guy's sucks because there's nothing you can sell. And it's like, the reality is there's a big world of plants and they're all worth doing. And I like plants enough, and guys like CSI and Bodie, we all like the plant enough that like we are interested in in all of them. So it's not like we have to just try to have cool stuff, because we think all this stuff is cool, and then everybody else gets to kind of sort it out when we give it a good description. you know, like you describe it honestly. Then people who are looking for whatever it is, okay, I need to stuff greenhouses full of this and produce stuff. Okay, well, we said this is a good one for commercial. It's got yield and all that. And then, you know, there's those people who just want a crazy sativa, you know. Bodhi, you see him put out these sativas that you're like, nobody wants to grow that. Who wants to nobody wants to have 1,000 pounds of it. But there's a lot of people who want to have, you know, a half pound of it or something, because some of them are crazy. You smoke them and you're like, this is weed, like this, I feel weird, you know, like, so there's definitely room for everybody, you know.
Yeah. It's cool to see, you know, you got Kagu, you got Bam over at Coastal Seeds, you got Bodhi, and like their realm of thinking, especially like Bam, his dad who passed away, brought those old Afghani seeds over. Where those things are so diverse. He's got everything from high CBD to high THC. Like, that's what's really cool is seeing, especially like those Afghani seeds he got years and years ago, and seeing what those are producing and the outcrosses that they're making. But we're not going to see for another 4 to 5 years down the line what these hybrids are going to actually produce, because they're all in testing, you know. So it's cool. That's where I think you guys are at, and that's where the fun really lies, you know. And I think this new generation and the new seed market, just kind of boring, man. It's just a bunch of reversals of gelato. How many, you know, new phenotypes can come out of gelato and sherb and OG? It's like they're all going to kind of be the same. I don't know if you've noticed that too, but I've noticed that nothing really stands out. They're all kind of in the same realm, you know. So.
And I mean, they're still worth going through, because you'll find some that you're like, wow, this is that thing, but you know, this one, it has so much more resin, or it actually, the flavor translates way more, and you're like, whoa, it's the same smell, but I really taste this one, or whatever. So it's cool to do, but you know, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just kind of a bummer sometimes to see that there's so much of that. And you know that there's all these things all over the world that people could be working with, and they're not, because they're just doing the same thing, and there's only so much manpower to breed plants, to improve them,
and
right?
to preserve.
Preserve them and keep them around.
That's what I get scared of, is that we may end up losing some of these foundational strains, just because that's what the market wants. But what do the connoisseurs want, and what happens when we lose these foundational strains? Some of them actually created these strains that we love.
It'd be cool to see more man hours put into keeping some of these special things around, as opposed to everybody going, oh, well, I could sell these, because it's like, it is marketable to have those exotics, but like there's already people doing that. So
totally.
Yeah.